What up, what up, what up? 6 degrees, Chef Dog Millionaire in the house. Happy Halloween to you all. What a weird Halloween we're getting ready to experience. Anyway, have fun with the kids out there. Make sure you're posting pictures on the thread. We'd like to see what those kiddos are wearing. And I'd like to see what your outfits are. Let's see what you guys came up with. Anyway, we got a jam-packed show for you today. There's a lot to talk about. We got a really cool game. We're going to be bringing in Andy Slater here, host of Hans YOLO, playing a little game called Frankenstein. We're going to Frankenstein the perfect team. There's a little rule that he has to follow, so we'll bring him on board. Anyway, we got the Rant Line here. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot to talk about. And anyway, let's get it going. No, I'm not doing it again. That's the last take. That's the last take. All right, guys, it's time to look at last week's review. Let's see what happened in week 7. Not a lot to talk about, so we're going to make this as quick as possible. There's more time we want to spend elsewhere. Plus, my team got smoked. And that's the first one on the board right here. Let's look at it. Moochner Sensaman gets tossed by Team Momo Sherry. You're supposed to update your team name, by the way, Sherry, creator of Kevin. That is your unofficial team name there. Look at that. 137 points to 57 for me. Cam Newton getting me a solid negative 0.18 points. I was better off not starting a quarterback last week than I was to play Cam Newton. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow, the rookie sensation coming out of Cincinnati, dropping 36 points. That is mega points. Her team just kept hitting, and my team did not. Injuries, poor performance, you name it, whatever. Anyway, congratulations to Team Momo Sherry. It took you 7 weeks, but you got yourself a win. And I lose to the team that didn't have a win. So that's good stuff there. All right, moving on. You had Hans YOLO going against the greatest of all times. The Chatterbot GOAT hasn't been chatting too much here. Hans YOLO keeps his streak alive, 7-0. He's taken down over half of our league here. Fantastic. Look at that, 145 to a 105. That's a 40-point win. Russell Wilson getting 32 points. Russell Wilson just hitting points after points each week. Alvin Kamara getting 23 on his own. Kareem Hunt getting 19. Look at that. On the flip side, Edelman only getting 2.3 points there for Zach's team. Nothing too great. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire only knocking out 13 points. We're going to see a little bit more integration coming from the old Le'Veon Bell sitting on Rob's team. It's going to be pretty exciting to see what happens in that backfield. There are a lot of weapons when it comes to Kansas City. So, Hans YOLO takes a win. He stays undefeated, 7-0. Moving on to the next matchup here, we had Rocky's Red Rocket going against Dropped by a Bell, the Bell, whatever it is. Hey, Kevin wins this one, 128 to 57. Not a lot happening on Rob's team. He was down in the bottom heap with me. He got points coming out of Allen, 17 points out of Allen. After that, it was nothing. 0.1 points coming out of Lamb. You can't play a Dallas player right now. You can't play anybody named Dallas right now, to be honest. On Kevin's side, look at that. Even though he got 7.5 points out of Garoppolo, he backs it up with 19 out of Gibson. That's a halfback coming out of Washington. 18 out of Higgins, and Moore dropping 28 points last Sunday. This Thursday wasn't all that great. So Kevin takes a much-needed win, and his team is on the up. Give the win to the commish. Moving on to the next matchup here, another blowout. Just blowouts, one after another. You're looking at Show Me Your TDs versus Make America Gronk again. Mark's team is a top-tier team, although his points for isn't showing it too well. Alex gets 76 points, and you're looking at Make America Gronk again, putting in a nice 115. Nice 115, nothing too bad. Matt Stafford getting 19.4 points. That's pretty good there. Aaron Rodgers on Mark's side getting 30. Aaron Rodgers showing he's a beast. He's going to do real good. On Alex's side, not much happening outside that. Cook's getting 13, Gordon getting 12, but nothing happening. That's the reason why he scored 77 points. Mark's side, 17 out of Schuster, 17 out of Gronk, 26 out of Hopkins. That's a lot of points coming out of those three players. Sealed the deal. Alex loses. Mark's team goes 5-2. Moving on to the next matchup here, you had 2 apples and a lemon cookie going against Miles ahead of you. Boy, Miles ahead and you're starting to feel strong. You're starting to get some confidence. Look at that, a 157 win over a 100 there. That's another blowout. That's a 57-pointer right there. Deshaun Watson scoring 25, but look at that. LeBert getting 42 points, 41.5 out of Lebert. Fantastic. King Henry, 15, not too bad. Gurley getting 22. Now he's looking like he's getting some injuries again, so you got to be careful there. Meanwhile, on Tracy's team, not much happened in the halfback spot. Mike Davis didn't do much. Not much happened there. Cooper Kupp getting 11. That's okay. Anderson got 13. That's fine. She just put in a 100-point against 3 people that played last week. She would have beat him, but not against this team. 157 for Miles ahead of you. Again, his team's on the upswing right now after a pretty tough start. Moving on to the next matchup, and this was a good one right here. Women do it better. Fighting back against minimum is good enough. They're going back and forth here. 192 points, damn near clipped 200 against a 170. Minshew dropping 19. David Johnson getting 16. Bernard with 21, but look at that. Tay Adams with 49. Boyd with 29. Godwin with 23. Those are some big, heavy points. And if you look at Frog's team, Murray getting him 39. That's a lot of points coming out of Kyler Murray there. But look at that, Jerick McKinnon, negative 0.1 points. You want to know where Frog stumbled in this matchup? And that was McKinnon. That is his RB2 spot. He had nobody else on his bench that he could have plugged in there to get him the win. But, man, that sucks when you get a negative point out of a close matchup like he had right there. Congratulations to Women Do It Better. That Mulvaney household feeling good after last week. Let's move on to the next matchup here. Right, here we go. We had Lynchburg Lynx doing work against Spoiled Chili with 77 on a 122 there. Look at that, 37 points coming out of Tom Brady, only 18 coming out of Matt Ryan. I think that's all he's going to get you, week in, week out. 16, 17, 18 points, nothing too crazy. Zeke Elliott with 6, that's not great. But when you're looking at Jason's side, Waller getting 17, Keenan Allen getting 23. Chris's team just did not have the firepower. 122 is an average score, but it only took 78 points to beat Spoiled Chili, not a whole lot. So Spoiled Chili takes a loss there. He drops to 3-4. Lynchburg Lynx gets the win. He goes to 4-3. Hey, that's your last week review. Moving on. All right, let's get into standings. Let's see what happened now that we tallied up those wins and losses from last week. Look at that. Hangiolo sitting 7-0. Of course, he's number 1 overall. Look at that points for. 1,057. That is some big league points for. All right, number 2, you're looking at Make America Gronk again. He's 5-2. Also 5-2, you're looking at minimum is good enough. That's your top 3. 2 apples and a lemon cookie, who's starting to fall down a little bit. She's 4-3. She's sitting 4 spot miles ahead. Yeah, he's on his way up. He's 4-3 with 862 points for. Lynchburg Lynx, he's sitting 4-3. He's in 6 spots. Show me your TDs, rounding out that top 7. He is 4-3 with a medium 787 points for. That's not a whole lot of points for, but hey, he's got the wins. Here, fighting in the bottom half, or the bottom part of the league, 3-4. That is greatest of all times. He's sitting in the 8 spot. Look at that, number 9 overall. Rocky's Red Rocket. He is also 3-4. Spoiled Chili, 3-4. 770 points for. Look at that. Women Do It Better. She is 2-5. She's got a couple wins there. Sitting 11th. Drop by the bell, 2-5. He's sitting 12th. My team, 2-5. Sitting 13th. And Team Momo Sherry sneaking out a win last week. She's sitting 1-6 in 14th. spots. Those are your standings, but check this out. Our under $10 fab teams. You got my team. I got $6 left. You're looking at Alex's team. He's got $5 left. And you're looking at Mark's team, who has spent all of his money. 3 teams with $10 or less in their Fabola wallet. And look at that, transactions. Who has had the most transactions so far? This is your top 3. Alex, 46 team transactions. Dan's team, 43 transactions. Tied for 3rd, Chris and Kevin, both with 41 transactions. On the flip side, Zach with 20, Tracy with 19. So a lot of puzzle pieces moving on for some people, and the others just sitting pat, seeing what their team can do. Those are your standings. Andy's team 7-0. Anybody going to beat this guy? All right, it's that favorite time of the episode. We're talking about the Rant Line. We finally got some submissions, so let's roll some tape, baby. First one up, roll it.
All right, listen here. This is your host of the 6 and Read podcast, Chef Dog Millionaire in the house. Listen, I'm pissed off. My team sucks. and last week putting up the worst performance I think I've put up in my entire fantasy lifetime. That is terrible. The only good news happened to me this week is I'm playing that shitty team coming out of Lynchburg. Thank God I'm going against that piece of trash. Anyway, can't wait to get my win. This team's on its way up. You just watch.
Yep, that one was from me, yours truly. My team sucked, but good thing I'm going against a much more inferior team this week. Jason, you're going down. All right, we got another caller here. Let's hear what this next person had to say and roll it.
Hey, this is your boy, the spoiled chili, because my team is a big old dumpster fire. I just wanted to say that if Ezekiel Elliott does not show up this week or any week after, I have no chance of winning or even going to the playoffs. So, Zeke, get your shit together, boy, and run the ball. Let's eat.
That's right, spoiled chili. Just not a lot happening with you. Hopefully Zeke can get you some points, man. I'm rooting for him. I am rooting for him. All right, so we got our third submission here for the Rant Line. And, let's hear what he's saying. And roll it.
Yeah, this is Alex the guy. I'm calling from Show Me Your TDs here. I was looking over some stats. I just got to say that the points I scored last week are not indicative of how good my team actually is. You see, Ben Roethlisberger, who is currently QB number 23, is just starting to get some playmakers on his team. I also have Melvin Gordon, and not to mention, I got Josh Jacobs on my team. He's a pretty good player, and I cashed in on Claypool. Pretty solid stuff. Anyway, if there's one team that's going to beat the undefeated Hans Yolo team, projection aside, it's going to be my team. So I'm just calling to say that the stats are on my side and that Hans Yolo will be losing.
Good stuff, Alex. Good stuff, Alex. All right, guys. Hey, make sure you're getting in your Rant Line submissions. I really appreciate everybody that calls. It's real quick. It goes straight to voicemail. Just talk about something, please. All right, cool. Time for that League Cup update. Tracy wants to call it the Cupcake Update or the Cupcake Trophy, whatever she wants to call it. Anyway, winners gets a dozen cupcakes, I think, on Tracy. She's just going to hand them out to you guys. She might even hand deliver them. I'm not sure. Anyway, we got 2 weeks to catch up on, right? And there's only 2 more weeks to go. And we're starting to see some separation here, but a lot of people still in it. So looking at last week, you can see the winners. You can see the losers right here. So good job there. Look at that. Chili just beats TD 77-76. Lynch takes the win there, 122-56 against Bell. Miles ahead of you takes down greatest of all times. Momo on a bye, even after a real solid week that she had there. Moving into Group E, you had Angiolo just taking apart my team there, 144-57. Minimum is good enough going against Women Do It Better. That was a double matchup this week. Women Do It Better obviously takes the win. You had Make America Gronk again, 115 over 100 there on Cookies. And Rocky's Red Rocket takes the bye week, so it doesn't matter. Looking at the standings here, look at that. Lynchburg Lynx, he is 4-1. He still hasn't had his bye yet. That's going to be coming in the last part of this tournament in the group stages here. Miles ahead of you, he is 3-1. You got Bell, he is 3-2, and TD's sitting 2-2. Goat, Chili, and Momo sitting in the bottom 3. They are currently in the hot seats. Looking at Group E, you got Hans Yolo. Of course, he's undefeated here in the Cup as well. Cookie going 3-1. Rocky's Red Rocket, he is jumping up. He's in the green there. He's 2-2. Sensimon, I'm barely hanging on. I'm 2-2. And in the hot seats, you got Women Do It Better. She's on the rise. Make America Gronk again. And minimum is good enough. That's what you're looking at in the standings there. All right, going into week 6 here, right? 2 weeks to go. Who do you got? Lynch going against TDs. You got Chili going against greatest of all times. Bell, he's on a bye. Miles ahead of you going against Team Momo there. Minimum is good enough going against my team there. Sentimon, Hangiolo going against Cookie. Women Do It Better. She's on a bye. She was on a roll, too. Bad time to get a bye. Make America Gronk again going against Rocky's Red Rocket. Got to remind you, top 4 teams out of your group advance to our quarterfinals. We got 2 weeks to go. This week, we're going to see some people eliminated. That's just how it goes. All right, guys, it is that special time in the pod where we're going to bring in our special guest. So the manager of Hangiolo, currently sitting undefeated. That's Andy Slater from the Slaughterhouse. That's who we got going on here. So, Andy, happy to have you on the pod, man.
Hey, how's it going? Happy Halloween from the Slater House, or yeah, the Slaughterhouse, as everyone who's faced me so far this year calls it.
All right, cool. So we're going to be playing an interesting game here, all right? We're going to Frankenstein a team. It's perfect for Halloween. What we're going to do is we're going to pick the top-ranked players, and I want you to build me the perfect team, but there's one rule you got to follow. You can't do the same ranked number player twice, so I can't have a full team of number ones, all right? So we'll work quarterback, 2 halfbacks, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex, and who gives 2 shits about kickers? And I don't care about the defense either. So we're just looking at those power positions here, and we're going to build the perfect team. Got it?
Okay, yeah, I think I got it.
All right, great. So starting at the top, who is your quarterback of your team?
All right, starting out at QB, I'm going to just go number 5 at the position. I think QB is a really deep position overall. No reason to really go for one of the very top guys and waste that pick. I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson. I think he absolutely belongs in the conversation for guys at the top of the list alongside guys like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. But honestly, no reason to use one of those top picks because the position is just so deep overall.
Wow, Deshaun Watson. Interesting. Number 5 overall coming off of Tracy's team. Pretty interesting stuff there. Hey, some people overvalue the quarterback position. Look at Kev's team. Some people undervalue it. Look at Alex's team. So pretty interesting stuff there sitting with Deshaun Watson. That's kind of like right in the middle. So, all right, who are your 2 halfbacks?
When we're looking at running back, I'm going to absolutely take my boy Kamara, number 1. I mean, he's just been killing it this year, absolutely on a tear. He is 41 points ahead of number 2 at running back. That's a no-brainer in my mind. You have to take that. I'm going to then use my number 3 pick and take Derrick Henry. I think he's just absolutely a stud. He's really solid. When you start looking, especially at the next few picks after him right now at the position, technically number 4 and 5 are Ezekiel Elliott and Todd Gurley, but with Zeke, really, you don't know what you're going to get from the Cowboys offense at this point. He could be the only guy on the team half the time, it feels like now. And then when you look at Todd Gurley, like we were seeing earlier this week, I mean, he just never looks pretty. He gets his numbers at the end of the day, but it never looks pretty. And so I didn't think I wanted to go that way. I'll take Henry at number 3.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there, right? Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, 2 beasts. Really valuing the halfback position here. 1 and 3 on the board. Some good stuff moving on there. All right, let's go to wide receivers here, all right? Who are your 2 wide receivers?
When we get to wide receiver, no one's really standing out. It's a really deep position overall, so no reason to use a top pick in my mind. I took Robbie Anderson. He's number 4 at the position, and then waited until my number 7 to get Adam Thielen.
Interesting. Robbie Anderson. All right, that's coming off of Tracy's team, and Adam Thielen sitting on Momo's team. Pretty interesting stuff there. That's 4 and 7 overall. All right, let's go to tight end. Who's going to be your tight end?
The tight end, I decided to go with George Kittle, another guy from my team. Kelsey's absolutely destroying it at the top of this position, but Kittle's always the solid number 2 every year. Usually after the top 2 or 3 at tight end, it pretty much drops off, and so I'd rather get a guy that provides a lot of good value there, but not use that 1st or 2nd round pick to get Kelsey.
All right, Andy, you've now picked 2 people on your team. No more picking players on your own team. All right, and we know you're undefeated. No more. Let's go to that flex position. Who do you got in the flex?
When it comes to flex, this was a hard one overall, but I decided just to go with Mike Davis using my number 6 to fit it in with the Frankenstein game here. And so he's coming in at almost 120 points. Seems like he's kind of fitting right in around, say, really close with Todd Gurley or Aaron Jones, excuse me.
Wow, interesting choice going Mike Davis here. He's really been just a spot guy with McCaffrey gone. Now that McCaffrey's starting to get integrated again, we'll see if he sticks that high up, but nothing too fancy there. You just go 1 through 7. You don't really venture out of the top 7 of those ranked players. So anyway, that's a Frankenstein team there. Andy, good job making that team. All right, I got one more question for you. Who do you think will finish with the least amount of points for in our league? Who's going to finish with the least amount of points for? Who you got?
Oh, you're not going to like the answer to this question. Right now, as it sits, the Sheffy brothers are the bottom 2 in our league, 13 and 14. I think that's a trend that's going to continue through the rest of the year. So my pick at the end of it all is Michael Sheffy. I'm sorry, but you're going to be at the bottom of it all.
That's not cool. That's not happening. Okay, it just had one bad week. All right, Andy, let's just chill out a little bit. And I don't know why every time someone gets on the pod, they want to throw my team down. All right, I'm putting this whole thing together. You guys could take a minute and appreciate it. stop punishing my team. Anyway, Andy, appreciate you being on the pod, man.
All right, well, that's it for me. I've got a lot of Halloween stuff to do with the kids. It's time to go trick-or-treating and go get some candy.
Thanks for your insight. That's Frankensteining a team. That's some good stuff right there. So, all right, guys. It's time to get into our Week 8 picks. Appreciate the guys that made picks last week. It's really good looking out there. Listen, over the last 2 weeks, I know we had a bye week last week. I was 8-6. That's over 500. I've had some pretty solid picks here. Look at this, 27-22 on the season. I should honestly stop picking my team to win, but it ain't happening. I'm winning every week. I'm winning out. That's what's going to happen. So let's get right into it. We're going to roll this as quick as we can here. Let's look at that first matchup. And, of course, it's mine. It's Sensimon versus the Lynchburg Lynx. Projections don't look too great for my side. I got Bridgewater. He only got me 12 over the weekend. Jason's kicker, who he lost, had been in Blankenship from me. He got 5.9. But look at this. You got Bart Scott. He's going against a very, very weak Dallas defense. I told you, don't play anybody with the name Dallas right now or play people like going against the guy named Dallas. Dobbins looking to step in, maybe get some points. I'm liking Tyreek Hill. Perrine, I'm hoping he gets me at least 2 points. And Blankenship's going to get me 20. I know he is. Let's abolish the kicker. That position sucks. On Jason's side, you got Tom Brady. Okay, that might be the best thing he's got, and Waller. So Jason's team don't look that great. He's been having to do a ton of waiver wire pickups just to fill in the gaps on his team. This is the perfect time for my team to pounce, score 58 points, and beat Jason by 1. So I can't wait to make that happen. I'm taking Sensimon in this one. Let's move it on here. We got the greatest of all times going against Drop by the Bell. Projections, you're looking at Political Rob taking the win here, but I'm not too sure about this one. Patrick Mahomes going against that Jets defense. I mean, that's at least 40 points, right? Maybe a 50 burger, maybe. Swift, he's looking to get 12 or, against who he's going in. Perrine, I know he's split in time, but he's still the feature guy coming out of Kansas City. Meanwhile, on Rob's team, Allen is starting to show that he's not as good as we thought he was in the beginning of the season, and that's typical for Buffalo. As it gets colder, their team typically starts to fall off a cliff, and we'll see what happens with Diggs if he still wants to go out there and catch a few footballs. Lamb got no points for Rob last week. Why would we expect him to do anything this week? And I think his highest point getter so far is his kicker. I'm thinking that's going to be the case here. I think his kicker outscores his entire team, and so I like the greatest of all times in this one. Drop by the Bell takes the loss. Moving on to this next one here. Show me your TDs going against Hans Yolo. How do you pick against the undefeated guy? I mean, he's 7-0. He keeps winning. He's putting points on the board. And last week, just like Alex said on the old Rant Line, his team's not that great. He doesn't have that good of a team. Roethlisberger going against Baltimore. I mean, that team's starting to turn it on. We'll see what happens there. Jacobs going against Cleveland. I mean, that's all I see that I like coming out of that. Meanwhile, look at that on Andy's team. He's got Wilson. He's got Kamara. He's got Hunt, Galladay. I mean, that dude's a beast. I expect Andy to score 140 points per usual this week. Alex might get 115. That's not a bad week. It's just not good enough to win. So I like Hans Yolo in this one. Moving on to our next matchup here. We got Rocky's Red Rocket going against 2 apples and a lemon cookie. I don't know who Lamar Jackson is anymore. He's hot 1 week. He's cold 2 weeks. He's hot 1 week. We're going to see which Lamar's coming up, but it's in the way his stats have been going. He's going to be a little bit colder this week, and that Pittsburgh defense is tough, and it's looking like it's going to be a little wet out there. We don't know what's going to happen with Montgomery. We're hearing some tough weather in that area, so they might be giving him the rock a little bit more, but, Nick Foles ain't that great either, so they're going to pack the box. And Moore only got him 7.5 on Thursday, nothing too great. Meanwhile, look at there, a lot of Kansas City players played on these two teams right now. Tracy's side, Davis only getting 8 points. That's okay. Anderson only getting 9 points. That's okay. Hayden Hurst getting 10 points. All right, that's fine. She's had to do some pickups here. I just don't see Goff. I don't see Cook being able to get enough points for what we're going to see coming out of the old Rockies Red Rocket team. This is going to be a close one. Flip of the coin. I like Rocket in this one. Rocket takes the win. Moving on to the next matchup. Make America Gronk again going against Minimum is good enough. 2 5-2 teams clashing it out. Let's see what happens here. Aaron Rodgers going against that weak Minnesota defense. I see him putting up a ton of points. Why wouldn't he, right? And then going against Carson Wentz, who's going against that weak Dallas defense. I see him putting up a lot of points. Why wouldn't he, unless he gets hurt? Gauman Don't like White, and this is on Mark's side. I don't like Gauman. I don't like White. Schuster's probably going to get a lot of points. Diggs, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a weird day. But then you got Gronk, and he should be getting a ton of points there. Look at that. On Frog's team, Ronald Jones, yeah, give him the rock locket. He's been scoring nothing but points. And you got Hawkinson at the tight end. He's a fill-in. I'll see what he does. Anyway, looking at this, I like Frog's team a little bit more. I think Frog's team takes this one probably by about 20 points. All right, moving on to the next one here. Miles ahead of you going against Team Momo Sherry, a.k.a. creator of Kevin. What a good start here. Look at that. Julio Jones getting 23, 10 out of Gurley, nothing fancy, but 21 out of Julio is fantastic. That's 32 points on the board right now. King Henry going against a weak Cincinnati defense. He should score a ton. Liebert should get a ton of points out of Denver. 4-3 for Miles ahead of you. His team's on the up, man. We were talking a lot of trash to Miles behind you. Well, guess what? He caught up, and now he's going to that next step forward. So Team Momo Sherry, she snuck the win last week in the slightest of margins. I don't see her being able to sneak the win this week as much as she did last week. So I like Miles ahead of you to take the win. He goes 5-3. Momo drops to 1-7. And then moving on to our last matchup here, you have Women Do It Better going against Spoiled Chili. Boy, I don't think Chris wanted to go against this matchup after what Kelsey's team did last week. 190-something points. That's crazy. Chris dropping 70. That's not that great. I'm looking at Chris's team, and there's just nothing happening, right? Ezekiel Elliott, he doesn't know what to do because they're packing the box, right? They're killing that Dallas offensive line. Zeke can't go anywhere. Matt Ryan put in another 17-point performance, fan. Okay, that's cool. That's not in the 20s. And Calvin Ridley got hurt. Chris's team just doesn't have enough to score. I don't think he can get over 100 points this week. And just looking at what Kelsey's team did last week, I see her putting up 120, right? I see her team getting the win at a 120 to 100 there. So I like Women Do It Better to win this one. Anyway, submit your picks. I'll throw $10 on there. So I guess we're up to, I don't know, let's just call it $10. I'll put $10 on there. You guys get the right picks this week. We'll figure out that money stuff later. So let's throw it to Commish Kev here. It is our Sharp Bets. Kev, take it away.
Hello, League. Ryder here with your Sharp Pick of the Week. I'm 5-1 on the year, so hopefully you've been betting alongside me and winning some money. This week, the New Orleans Saints are big-time favorites on the road at Chicago, which I think is a big mistake. There's supposed to be heavy winds, potentially some rain, some winter weather going on in this game. There's a low over-under point total. I think it stays close. Not to mention Drew Brees is without almost his entire wide receiver core. Give me Chicago +5 at home in this matchup. They're going to keep it close. Why don't you put some money on it and then go buy yourself something nice. Happy Halloween, everybody.
All right, thanks, Kev. Hey, guys, that's our show. Let's see if we can make some money with Kev. He's 5-1. Let's see if he goes 6-1, although that Chicago pick, I know it's close. But they burned me a couple times here this week, or this year. So anyway, it's been a great show. Hey, enjoy your Halloween festivities, or if you're watching this after you guys were already went out with those kiddos, I hope it was fun and you guys were staying safe and wash your hands, obviously. Anyway, have a good night, guys. Enjoy week 8 here. We're on week 8, so enjoy it, and good luck. No more injuries. See ya.